All right, so we're going to be holding this session shortly. We have our speaker too available. And as we begin, I would just like to emphasize on a few rules regarding the session. If by or at any point in time you have a question to ask, kindly just notify by putting up a hand, and then we will allow you in the session. But let's just give a minute or two to see a few people that are joining, and then we can continue. All right, so I'll start with a brief introduction about SEO Africa. So SEO simply stands for Sponsors for Educational Opportunities, and it is basically a non-profit talent and leadership development organization. So what SEO Africa does is they select, train, and then mentor and provide corporate access to students that are doing very well in their various departments. Um, SEO basically is characterized by four pillars, which we will be going through in the which we'll be taking you guys through. So basically, what SEO tries to do is to instill values of hard work, integrity, giving back to the future business leaders. Um, so a brief history about SEO will be that we had a couple of alumni, two alumni actually, that had joined SEO USA, and upon their Sorry, guys. I had a brief interruption. Yes. So, like I was saying, SEO Africa was founded by SEO USA in London by two of our alumni, Ed Garcia and then Kwabna Ampofu, who, after their SEO internship, they thought they thought it right to set up an African version of SEO Africa based on the experience of what they had received. It was basically just so they can also provide same opportunities that African students are lacking, as in a way of where in the USA they realized that they did realize that other African students are also very good, and when given opportunities similar to what these other people or these other colleagues of theirs were receiving, they could also do very well in their various fields. So somewhere in 2012, they thought it needful to set up SEO Africa, and that is how SEO Africa also came about. So with the incident of SEO Africa, it has bec it has become one of the platforms where We are accumulating a lot of alumni by way of the programs that we take them through, and they are able to do well in their various fields. People do get internship opportunities in partner firms that we do work with. We have a host of partner firms who do provide internship opportunities. They do provide training programs for students, and that is what we will be talking about. So I did mention earlier that SEO Africa is characterized by four pillars, which is the selection, the training, and then the mentorship, as well as the corporate access that SEO Africa does provide. So some of the SEO Africa programs that we offer are the Global Pathways program and then the in-country program too as well. So with the Global Pathway programs, we basically just provide students the opportunity to be able to receive training that if they are able to get access to these international opportunities, they go and then they deliver very well. And then as well, it's not just about international programs, but we also do provide opportunities for students in local firms too as well. So if you happen to be in Nigeria, we have partner firms with a lot of these higher companies where students are given access to have internship opportunities as well as at the end some of them getting full employment from some of these companies. What you get to gain from being a part of SEO Africa is world-class training. You get to network with the amount of alumni that we have available. Also, you get corporate access to a lot of these partner firms that we work with. And mentorship, there is a whole lot that you get to gain, but these are the main ones that you can gain from being a part of SEO Africa. So currently, one of the programs that we have out, that is why we are having this session, is the Bank of America 2026 Summer Internship Program. And basically, we are looking for doing students in their various fields that are either in the finance field, or even if you're not in the finance field, you can still even go ahead and do apply for. So basically, about Bank of America is one of the world's leading financial institutions, and they do provide some of these opportunities. All right, guys. Sorry about the interruption once again. So about Bank of America is one of the world's leading financial institutions serving individuals, small and middle market businesses, large corporations, governments with a full range of banking, investment management, and other financial and risk management product services. So Bank of America basically has a program structure where they provide four pillars, which further develops into six divisions. These four pillars are Global Corporate Investment Banking, Global Market and Research Institute, Technology and Data Analytics, and then Operations and Business Enablement. So when it comes to GCIB, which is investment banking, we will be having a session where we will have a speaker who is an alumni, will come and then give us more details on it, as well as all the other various pillars too as well. At this point, I don't, Victoria is available now. I will give her the chance to also introduce herself and speak on what we will be talking about today.
All right, thank you for that, David. Hello, everyone, and good evening. I hope that you're doing well. David, can you confirm that you can hear me loud and clear? David, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Hi, Victoria. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So once again, good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be here with you. I am going to introduce myself before I jump into the main message that I have for you today. I'm Victoria Hundane, and I work with SEO Africa as the Talent Development and Training Manager. Now, before I go into what I want to share with you this evening, I think it might be helpful for me to share a bit of my career history with you, only because that serves as a foundation for what I'm about to say. About 10 years ago, when I graduated from the university, I secured an internship with Goldman Sachs. Now, if you've done your research, Goldman Sachs is one of Bank of America's, well, largest competitors. I did an investment management internship, and then shortly afterwards, I transitioned to IC Securities here in Ghana, where I started a 3.5 year career in investment banking. Shortly afterwards, I then transitioned into SEO Africa, where I have since worked in talent development and training. Now, this means that I've had about 10 years worth of both personal experience in banking, as well as the unique opportunity to closely observe others who have gone into banking opportunities. And so, what I want to first share with you all are some key things that I've taken away from what banking is really like and what you can expect, especially since time has evolved from 10 years ago up until today. The first thing that I want to share with you all is that banking opportunities such as this Bank of America 2027 summer internship opportunity that we're speaking to you about this evening are very competitive, some of the most competitive in the entire world. If you take a look at a news article from Financial News London, you would realize that the acceptance rates can be as low as 1 to 2%. That means that for every 100 people like you who apply, only one, maximum two people actually secure this kind of summer internship. As of last year, Bank of America received over 120,000 applications, and yet the acceptance rate was just under 2%. I say this to give you a really clear picture of just how competitive this is, just how many people in your shoes globally want this kind of opportunity. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you is if you have been following the news as you should have, then you would realize that recent immigration policies, quite frankly, across the world, but also particularly in the US and in Europe, are making it increasingly difficult for African students and essentially non-European candidates to secure these kinds of internships. What this means for you guys is that compared to many of your predecessors from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, not only are you dealing with particularly stiff competition, but you now have to deal with immigration policies that don't necessarily favor you. Why am I highlighting these 2 points about competition and immigration policies? Is to make you understand that if you really want a summer internship opportunity in 2027 with Bank of America, there is no opportunity for you to play around. You need to understand the seriousness of the situation that you are facing, quite frankly. Okay. Now, the third thing that I want to share with you is more so about what banking is truly like. Regardless of what role you're interested in, what division you're interested in, technology, operations, investment banking, sales and trading, human resources, etc. Please understand that banking is a very demanding industry. There is no two ways about it. Banking is demanding, full stop. And so, although I find that a lot of African students and just students in general love the idea of working with a global bank, such as Bank of America, which is one of the biggest in the entire world, they may not necessarily be a good fit precisely because of how demanding this environment is. And so, if you're in this room today, clearly that's an indication that you do have a strong interest in doing this kind of internship, in undergoing some kind of banking internship. But that interest alone is not enough. Do you have what it takes? Are you going to put in the effort to be the person that a global bank will need you to be in order to secure an internship, in order for you to eventually secure a full-time offer? Banking is demanding. Another point I want to share with you, linked to all that I've said so far, is that because of how competitive and demanding banking is, a lack of preparedness and a laid back attitude is going to guarantee that number one, you don't even get anywhere near securing this kind of internship offer. And a laid back attitude, even after you've secured an internship offer, is going to guarantee that you will boot it out really quickly. Why? Because the professionals that you will be working with in global banks are very busy individuals. There's just too much work to be done for them to put up with and tolerate people who aren't also pulling their weight. So do not romanticize banking and just focus on the ego boost, if you will, of saying that you secured an internship with Bank of America. But think long and hard about what exactly this kind of opportunity is going to ask of you, because it is in fact demanding. And if you approach this with a laid back attitude, it's simply never going to work out. Another point I want to share here is unlike your predecessors from 10 plus years ago, you all actually have a unique advantage these days. And that advantage is artificial intelligence. You see, 10 years ago, someone who was in your shoes who had an interest in applying for this kind of opportunity would have had to do a whole lot of manual research and independent learning. We would have had to comb through Google, 100 different websites to verify that A and B is exactly A and B. We would have had to chase our lecturers. We would have had to chase alumni of SEO, the SEO Africa program. We would have had to do so much just to be able to learn what we needed to learn to perform well in our interviews, to perform well during the internships. But these days, you guys have ChatGPT, even the free version. You have Claude and other AI platforms. These platforms do a whole bunch of research for you, so you don't necessarily have to comb through 100 different websites. You can simply go to these platforms and then ask platforms questions. They're going to give you answers, and you can verify those answers yourself. If you're not clear on the answers, you can ask the platform to explain the answers to you. And so this gives you a massive advantage when it comes to training and learning. And the final thing that I want to share here is you are responsible for your learning and growth. SEO is going to take you to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink. You can just take it to the water. And so we're going to provide quite a bit of resources for you, but you're the ones who are going to have to put in the effort. Now, given all that I've said so far, I want to move on to my primary message today. And David, I'm sorry if I confused you a little bit. My primary message this evening is actually about the corporate immersion experience of this Bank of America program. In order to make sure that we're all on the same page here, I want to very clearly explain what this program is, as well as what the corporate immersion part of this program is all about. This program is not an internship program. I say that because a couple of people who don't understand our language have reached out to me asking if this is an internship. No. Let me explain the background here. Bank of America is looking for African candidates such as yourself who could participate in their 2027 summer internship in Europe. Let me say that again. Bank of America is looking for African candidates such as yourselves who could potentially participate in the 2027 summer internship in Europe. Now, normally, people who want to participate in that internship program would apply online. They would apply directly to Bank of America on their website and then go through Bank of America's virtual selection process. This year, however, Bank of America has something different in mind. Rather than doing it the way it has been done in the past, Bank of America will be physically coming to Accra, Ghana in September of this year for a few days. And the purpose of their in-person visit to Accra, Ghana is to physically assess and interview candidates, African students, so that they can select from the bunch of people who they interview, the really strong ones who they want to participate in their 2027 summer internship program. Now, where does SEO Africa come in? The entire purpose of this Bank of America program is to help Bank of America find that short list, that group of people who they are going to interview in September. So if you were here, it's because you have indicated that you have an interest in the 2027 summer internship. In order for you to secure that internship, you're going to have to first be interviewed by Bank of America in September. But being here does not automatically mean you're going to qualify to be interviewed by Bank of America in September. We are going to take you through a bit of training, but also assess you periodically. And the results of your training and your assessments is what is going to help us, SEO Africa, determine who to recommend to Bank of America. We at SEO are the ones who are going to come up with the short list of individuals who Bank of America is going to interview in person in Accra, Ghana in September of this year. It doesn't matter whether you reside in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Kenya, anywhere else. The assessment will be done in person in September, and you need not worry about transportation. All of that is being worked out. You're not the one who's going to have to worry about all of that. I hope that the explanation of what this program is incredibly clear at this point. This is not an internship program itself. This is a program that is preparing you for a potential interview with Bank of America in September. But being on this program does not guarantee that you will in fact be interviewed by Bank of America in September. What determines whether or not you get to be interviewed by Bank of America in person in September is your performance on this program. So the better your performance relative to everyone else here, the much higher the probability that we would recommend you to Bank of America. That is what this program is about. Now, moving on to the corporate immersion experience of this program. What is that about? The corporate immersion experience of this program is a combination of two things. Number one, training, and number two, assessment. If you are here, you've indicated, or at least very soon, will indicate which division at Bank of America you're interested in. Investment banking, sales and trading, or global markets, as we say, human resources, operations, technology, global payment solutions, or any other division, right? This training is going to get you quite up to speed with what those divisions are about and get you up to speed with the knowledge that you would need if you are going to be a professional in that specific division. In addition, this training will also put you through some exercises on how to interview in person. And the entire point of the training is to make sure that you're up to speed technically with where you need to be by the time you're put in front of Bank of America for an interview, if you indeed qualify. But like I said, the second part of the corporate immersion program would be the assessments that we give you guys. These assessments are currently being crafted, but they will be administered from time to time. And your performance in these assessments is what will tell us whether or not you're good enough to be put in front of Bank of America for them to interview you in person in September. Now, some of the classes that you'll be going through would have alumni of the SEO Africa program who are currently working at Bank of America present. So those virtual sessions would be an excellent opportunity for all of you here to interact with actual current employees of Bank of America, have your questions answered, etc. And so, with that being said, I hope that the explanation of what the corporate immersion experience is going to be like is really clear. Now, moving on to the program intensity and commitment. The corporate immersion experience is naturally going to be quite rigorous and demanding. So, there's going to be a high level of commitment, effort, and consistency that is required. We know that you're all in school, you have lectures, you have assignments, you have exams, and all sorts of other priorities. But like I said, this is a very competitive opportunity. And this opportunity, unfortunately, simply cannot factor in all of your other priorities. So you're the one who's going to have to individually decide if this opportunity is so important to you, so prestigious to you and your future, that you're willing to prioritize it at all costs. Even if that means, as opposed to taking a nap for 2 hours, you completely cut out those naps so that you can do your learning. Even if it means hanging out with your friends a lot less so that you can dedicate a lot more time to this program. Even if it means being present for a virtual class in the evening or on the weekend or on a public holiday. Like I said, this is a very competitive opportunity. If you don't put in that work, I promise you, there will always be lots and lots of others who will put in that work, and it's going to show. And those are the kinds of people who will secure this opportunity. So this program is going to naturally be demanding. It's going to take your time. It's going to require effort. But if you're not willing to put in that effort at this stage, what you're signaling is you're precisely the kind of candidate that we're not going to recommend to Bank of America because we know that you're not the kind of candidate that they want. So I hope that that's quite clear. So that is the brief description that I'm going to give so far regarding A, what banking is about, what you can expect, the fact that it's really competitive, more competitive than ever before, quite frankly, and immigration policies lately are not favoring you guys. Therefore, if this is an opportunity that you want, you're going to have to really put in the work. Secondly, I've described exactly what this program is and its purpose. If you put in the work, if you really do well in your assessments, you participate appropriately in your training, you take charge of your learning, you don't wait for SEO Africa to spoon feed you everything. You leverage all the learning resources we give you, as well as AI that's available at your fingertips, then there's a good chance that you will do so well that we might recommend you to Bank of America so that they can interview you in person here in Accra in September. So, with that being said, I wish you all the very best. I hope that this triggers some thinking within you and that you ultimately decide to pursue this with full energy and with full commitment. I wish you all the very best. David, over to you now.
All right. Thank you, Victoria, for that wonderful insight that you've given us. Yes, so at this part of the session, I would give room for people that have questions to let us know what your questions are, and then we can take it from there. So if you have any questions, kindly either put up a hand or you can write it in the chat box and we will follow suit from there. So kindly let us know those that have questions, and then we can continue from there.
Hi, David. My hand is up. Can I ask my question now?
Yes, Margaret, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you. My question basically is around eligibility. Is this just for African students who reside in Africa or African students globally? That's number one. Number two is what year group, what school year group? So university, is this from year one or year two, or just as long as you're still in university?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Margaret, thank you for that question. Um, so the very first part of your question, where you are asking if it is for only African students residing in Africa, I think for I will let one of my colleagues come in, but I do know that yes, it is for African students residing in Africa because Bank of America has specifications as to African universities that they are looking forward to, you know. Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, David, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right,
Yes, we
sure.
can hear you.
Somebody,
Yeah.
yes. So it is for African students residing in Africa, basically students from African universities. They are the ones that are getting this opportunity to do the internship with Bank of America. And then on the second part of your question, where you were asking about the eligibility, so it is for students that are in finance field, but then again, it doesn't just stop there. It cuts across from students from the finance field into other fields, engineering. The whole idea is that once you do believe that you are a very strong candidate and you have keen interest in either of the divisions that Victoria mentioned earlier on, and you are expressing that keen interest in wanting to develop a career in it, you are equally also eligible for it. So that is one of the criterias that they are looking for. I don't know if I've answered all your question, Margaret.
What year group, please?
Yes, so they are looking forward to students that are graduating in 2028. But then again, I do believe students from 2027 are also going to be considered, but it depends on how strong you think you can, how strong you think your academic performance is, and how you're holding up in school is. But basically, it is for 2028 year group, but then we will be considering 2027 too as well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there any other person with a question?
Hello, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, Farouk, please go ahead with your question.
Okay. So, though you've answered one of my questions was, well, those graduating in 2027 be considered. So,
Farouk, I
that's
can
that.
hear you, but it's not very clear. So if you can position yourself well.
Okay. But can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. So I said you answered one of my question, which is are students who are graduating in 2027 be considered? So that was why you answered that. And my other question is, most of everything in the eligibility is finance. I'm a science student, and I'm into technological stuff like data analytics, and I have friends that are into it too, which I sent a flyer to them when I saw the because we are people that are into that field. So my question is, if we are presenting ourselves as science students, would that be an effect or not? Because we're not into finance directly. We are just like I am taking skills outside um our course to join the program. Will it be considered, or is just for people that has the financial mindset from ground?
Okay, I think I already gave an answer, but I would like Victoria to come in and maybe she can elaborate more on it. So, Victoria, if you can take that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, David. Alabi, to answer your question, whatever it says that you're currently studying at the university is not going to disqualify you from whatever division that you're interested in applying to. There are lots of people who study an engineering course but end up in investment banking. Investment banking is finance, has nothing to do with engineering. I know someone who studied geology and he's currently a software engineer at Goldman Sachs. All of this is to say that what's really important is your ability to demonstrate your expertise, your interest, your experience in the fields that you say you're interested in. So if you've studied some kind of engineering, mechanical engineering, for example, and you want to apply to Bank of America's technology division, that's completely fine. But are there lots of things in your CV and in your profile that points to the fact that you have the skills that are needed to work as a software engineer in Bank of America's technology division? Do you have prior internships where you had coding experience, software development experience, or cybersecurity experience? Have you taken certain online courses? How many programming languages are you familiar with? What projects have you worked on? Do you have a GitHub portfolio, et cetera, et cetera? The more you can demonstrate through your profile your readiness for the opportunity, the less relevant your program of study becomes. Does that answer your question?
Very well, very well. It answers my question very well.
Okay.
I
David, I
think,
see that there are a few
yeah,
questions in the chat.
yes. Before we get to one of them, I think Bukola has the hand up. If Bukola, you can hear us, ask your question, and then we can get into the chat. Bukola, can you hear us? All right. Since Bukola is not responding, Victoria, one of the questions in the chat is how long is the corporate immersion program? That's one. And then what are the stages involved before corporate immersion program itself? And then I think the third question would be if you eventually go through the corporate immersion program, can you change your division of choice or must you stick to the initial choice that was made?
Great. Aliyah, these are really good questions. To answer your first question, how long is the corporate immersion program? There isn't a fixed period as of now. And that's because, as I mentioned earlier, this is a program that's still being developed. What I can tell you, however, is that you can expect this program to begin towards the end, well, towards the middle or even the end of June. Now, since Bank of America will be here in September, we are aiming to give them a short list by mid to late August. And so just for now, work with the time frame of late June and the whole of July, possibly early August, before we then submit that shortlist. So how long is the corporate immersion program? There isn't a fixed time period as of now, but just think about a minimum of 5 weeks, a maximum of 7 weeks, based on the timelines that we have right now. Your second question is, what are the stages involved before the corporate immersion program itself? Are the current stages to determine the candidates that will be participating in the corporate immersion program? I think Anna can best speak to that, our talent acquisition team. So, pending when and if she's able to jump in, I will skip that question. Number three, if you eventually go through the corporate immersion program, can you change your division of choice unless you stick to the initial division that you've chosen? You cannot change your division of choice. You have to stick to the division that you choose from day one. And that's simply because all the training that you're going to receive is going to be geared completely towards the division that you have selected. So although we very much plan to have general classes for things such as interview training, a lot of your classes are going to be division by division. So there'll be classes only for technology people, classes only for investment banking people, etc. So there's no possibility that we can train someone for several weeks in, let's say, investment banking, and then at the last minute, they want to switch over to technology or sales and trading. And that's simply because not only have we trained them in investment banking, but all the assessments that I spoke about earlier have been geared towards investment banking. So if you say you want to switch at the last minute, well, we haven't assessed you for this new division that you've said you're interested in. So no, you cannot switch. You have to stick to the division that you've chosen from day one. I see another question here. Will those persons who are in Nigeria be considered now that we have found out it's a physical interview? Like I said while I was speaking, regardless of which country you're in, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, all of that is being factored into the planning. The idea and plan as of now is that if you're in another country, you will be brought to Accra and housed in order to be able to do the assessment with Bank of America, the interview with Bank of America in person. So yes, if you are here, that is because you were being considered. Okay, someone keeps asking, does this mean that Bank of America won't be accepting applications on their websites for African students? That is for Bank of America to decide. I haven't personally had that conversation with them yet. My thinking, however, is that if the entire point of this program is for them to find African interns via in-person assessment as opposed to the usual virtual assessment that takes place, then that strongly implies that they are deprioritizing or potentially even completely removing the virtual applications that they've done in years prior. But again, that's completely up to Bank of America to decide. By the time applications open, typically around that August period for European candidates, American candidates, you can check their website. But if you're on this program, that is not something that should concern you anyway, because it's the in-person assessment that would impact you. Someone says, is this an opportunity for only students? Yes, as David mentioned earlier, Bank of America is only considering those who will be graduating 2 years from now. That implies that you must be students. And can someone graduating in 2030 still apply? Again, that has been implied in what David has said. You must be graduating in 2028.
Yes.
Okay, someone is asking about the eligibility for the immersion program. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but if someone from the talent acquisition team can speak to any potential stage between now and the start of the corporate immersion program, that would be much appreciated. Someone says, will there be a WhatsApp group? And as a software engineering student, what should I do if I don't have those GitHub portfolio and projects prior to now? As for the WhatsApp group, there's no existing WhatsApp group. That's something we can consider in-house potentially. As for what you can do if you don't have a GitHub portfolio and projects, definitely work on your profile, work on your coding skills, get something off the ground as soon as possible. Is there a hackathon you can involve yourself in? Remember, guys, this is a very competitive program. If you have absolutely nothing to show in your profile for the skills that you say you have, you're not really helping Bank of America see why they should select you, and you're not helping us see why we should recommend you to Bank of America. So do something to improve your profile ASAP.
Okay,
Someone
all right.
says,
Um, Victoria, just to
David,
come
pardon
in
me,
with
you want
the
to go?
yes, just to come in with the part where the person was asking about the selection process. Um, so with that, I think basically when the applications did open, we did share with the various universities, and we've shared with all various universities with the link leading you directly to the application um, process. So basically, you have to submit your application, and in the when you open the forms, it comes with portions where you have to submit an application covering academic background, your career aspiration, your division of interest, And then the next one will be an aptitude and technical portion where it basically tests you on your verbal and numerical reasoning and situation. Let me just share the screen and then we can just take it through. Yeah, but Victoria, please, you can go on.
While you share your screen, I'm still combing through the questions. All the questions relating to eligibility, I would be intentionally skipping past those because we've repeatedly given feedback on that. But someone is asking about the other virtual sessions that we've scheduled. Those are the division-specific sessions that will be taking place over the next few days. Are they mandatory for everyone or optional? Actually, David and Anna, if you can speak to that, that would be great.
Victoria, sorry, can you please come again?
Yes, so someone is asking that for the remaining virtual sessions, where we will be focusing more on the divisions, investment banking, etc., over the next few days, are all of those sessions compulsory?
Basically, it is not compulsory, but then it's more of where if you are able to get knowledge on all the various divisions that are going to be talked about, it gives you much more insight and it also helps you with your decision on which, pillar or division that you would want to join whilst you are also taking a part, in the process. So specifically, it is not compulsory, but I think that it will be to your advantage if you can to join as much of the sessions as you can, just so you can have knowledge on the various divisions and then you can make your informed decision on that.
Thank you.
Yes, so then again, as I was stating earlier on, this is the selection process into the summer internship program with Bank of America. So you would have to go through all these 5 stages in the selection process. And before you get to the corporate immersion, as Victoria spoke very well on, you will now have to go through the application system, the aptitude test, the application review, and then you also have to go through the interviews. With all of these various processes, we have resource personnel who are well equipped to take you through and then to ensure that, before you get to the latter part of the success stage, you will be well equipped to be a very strong candidate that Bank of America will consider. So starting with, like I did mention earlier, you would have to go through submit your application and your covering academic background, career aspiration, and division of interest. And then you go through the verbal and numerical reasoning and situational judgments and a division specific technical assessment as well. And then after application review, students and candidates candidates will be reviewed by SEO Africa staff and alumni with experiences in your division. And then afterwards, you will pass through the interview stages. And if everything goes well for you, then you get shortlisted to complete the corporate immersion process. So I don't know if that answers the question that the person was asking, but these are the stages that you have to go through in the selection process.
Thank you, David. Some people are asking questions with regard to the time lapse or the time gap in between those stages that you just mentioned. Have those been nailed down yet, or is it still fairly flexible at this point?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yeah, so some people are asking about the time gap between the stages of this program that you just outlined. So I'm asking if if it's still flexible as of now, or if they're fixed timelines.
For now, it is a bit flexible, but I will really confirm. So the person asking that question, kindly hold me accountable to it. I would have to really confirm and then get back to you on that. So please, whoever it is, kindly let me know and then I will get you a response on that.
Someone is asking, will we all have access to SEO's training and learning resources, or there's a selection process for that as well? No, there's no selection process for you to have access to SEO training and learning resources. The two main ones that we'll be starting you off with would be our learning app and our resource hub. So once you have the link to both, you can go do quite a bit of learning on those, but there's no selection process you have to go through to gain our training material on those two platforms.
Right. Okay. Do we have any more questions, or is there a part where we haven't touched on? Then we can do that quickly.
Chieka has his hand up. I think he wants to add something.
Okay, Shika.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, Chika, I can hear you.
Yes. So on the person that was asking about timelines for feedback, so they are quite flexible for now. We don't have specific or fixed timelines that you'll be hearing from us. Yeah, so it's flexible. It can take a couple of days or probably a week or some days after.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you on that. Yeah. I think Passy has her hand up. Passy, if you can hear us, kindly go on with your question.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, so I wanted to find out for the corporate and investment bit, will it require anything like the having a charter in institutes and securities investments? And also, if you are currently like with maybe Chartered Institute of Banking, does it also qualify you to join this program? Maybe you are done with your master's and your first degree, but you are currently still in school with the Chartered Institute of Banking. Do you qualify to undertake this? Thank you.
Okay. So I will let Victoria respond to that question if she can. But then before that, the person that was asking about the process, the selection process timeline, it is by the end of July, June, July, the process will be completed. So if I've responded to that question for the person.
Okay, I believe the question I heard was essentially about eligibility criteria. I'm not particularly familiar with the concept of the kind of school that you mentioned, but the general idea here is so long as you're in school and you'll be graduating 2028, David said in a few cases 2027, then there's a good chance that in terms of eligibility, you do qualify. So it doesn't really matter whether that school is your undergraduate degree, is your postgraduate degree, so long as you'll be in school then there's a good chance that, well, so long as you're in school and you'll be graduating 2028, sometimes maybe 2027, there's a good chance that you might be eligible.
Okay. All right. I think Dan has the hand up. So Dan, if you can make your question very brief and short, just so we can stay on time too as well. So Dan, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Wanted to know if the documents we submit during when applying, such as CVs, cover letter, are they the ones used? Are those the ones you submit to Bank of America interviewers when making the assessment?
I can see Victoria shaking, nodding her head, so maybe she would just take this one for you, Dan. Yes, Victoria.
You also have one more.
Okay, okay.
If I'm a software engineer and I'm interested about global markets, and I don't want to be a trader, but I just want to assist traders by building things like notification systems, but I don't want to sit on desk trading. Should I apply as in the technology data analytics division or global markets division?
I would have time to answer both questions. So your first question about your CV, we know, God bless all of you, you do the best you can with the knowledge you have right now in drafting your CVs, but we want to make sure that you present excellently formatted CVs to Bank of America. because your CVs need to, as much as possible, be able to rival the CVs of your European counterparts. Remember, you are, in a sense, competing with them for spots. And so the CV that gets you onto this program is not likely to be the same CV that will present Bank of America. And we'll make sure of that. So we have to refine a lot in your CVs. Your second question, you are more of a software engineering type of person, but you want to do software engineering work for the global markets division. So should you apply to technology or markets? What I would say is this. It's better to apply to technology because once you apply to markets, the understanding and assumption there is that you have to be a lot more focused on actual markets, the finance side of things, the trading side of things. And so if you know that as of now, you know pretty much nothing about financial markets, asset classes, derivatives, equities, FI, currency, the different kinds of markets, then applying to markets simply isn't going to make any sense. Just apply to technology. That being said, you don't really have control over where you end up within Bank of America. That's because even if you're accepted into the technology division, you're going to be placed in a team where there's a vacancy for you. So, although you may have a desire to work with, let's say, global markets, but in a technology position, if there's no vacancy there, then your desire cannot override the reality that there's no vacancy there. So you're going to have to approach this with an open mind. You're allowed to have your desires, but you're going to be placed wherever there's a vacancy for you. I hope that that answers both of your questions, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Victoria, someone had a question that I wanted to just ask. The person sent it to me. It says, will a laptop be required for the corporate immersion, or I can use my phone for all assessment?
I promise you, you're going to need a laptop. You're going to need a proper PC. A phone is not going to do some of the things that we're going to be doing. So please find a way to organize a laptop, a PC, not just a phone.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
sorry, if you don't mind, there's a question here I really want to address. People ask this a lot from Akosia. It's about adjusting internship dates. This is for everyone. Please note that banks such as Bank of America are never going to adjust their internship dates for you. There's a tremendous amount of planning you cannot even imagine that goes into pulling off a summer internship. What happens is that in the event that your university schedule clashes with the dates of your summer internship, and this isn't a rare occurrence, by the way, you simply reach out to your HOD, your VC, whoever is in a position of power to give you leave of absence. And you have an agreement with that person that you would be absent from school for the entire duration of the summer internship. It's usually 10 to 12 weeks long, starting around mid-June and ending towards the end of August. You will be gone the entire time. And then when you get back to school after the end of the internship, you can then catch up on all that you've missed, take all the exams that you've missed. But everyone here, please have that at the back of your mind. Banks are never going to be able to adjust their internship dates to accommodate your specific issue. You're the one who's going to have to adjust your dates.
All right. Victoria, someone also did ask, Wilhelmina Elena Maja. She was asking if, she said, is this separate from the Global Pathways program?
Well, that's a good question.
Yes.
Guys, pardon us if this seems a little bit confusing. SEO Africa's Global Pathways program is a program that we run every year that's designed to assist and prepare those of you who want to secure global banking internships in doing so. Now, the reason this is confusing for some of you is that last year, for example, we were a little more focused on another company, and this year we're more focused on Bank of America. So, to answer your question, yes, this is very much the Global Pathways program, but because we are primarily focused on Bank of America this year, that's why you keep seeing the Bank of America brand name. If at the end of the corporate immersion program, we do not put your name on the short list that we're sending to Bank of America, meaning you're not going to be interviewed by Bank of America in September, we're going to highly recommend that you apply to other banks. Just because it didn't work out with this one doesn't stop you from applying virtually to some of Bank of America's competitors. So to answer your question, yes, this is part of our Global Pathways program, but we don't want you to let the language confuse you because right now we're preparing you primarily for Bank of America.
Okay, so we will take two more questions and then we will be bringing the session to an end. So, Frederick, if you can hear me, kindly go ahead with your question, please. If Frederick cannot hear us, Alan, do you have a question? Please go ahead.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Bank of America has really cemented itself as among the top investment banking firms in Europe. And it goes without saying that it has a lot of branches across Europe. And I just want some specification on which branch of Bank of America we'll be going to. Is it Bank of America London, maybe Germany, or the ones in the States? Thank you.
I will jump in
Okay.
here. First of all, we use the language of office, not branch. Historically, African interns have gone into different European offices, not really the American offices. So think London, Bromley, Chester, Camberley, Paris, Dublin, Ireland as well. But right now, it's going to be primarily London.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the correction as well.
Okay. We'll take the last question, and that would be from Olaide. I hope I got your name right. Olaide Timiayu, if you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, you got my name correctly. So I want to ask a question. Earlier, I saw someone asking about technology and data analytics track, and she responded, but I didn't quite get that. Is it that data analytics is more available, or is it like the two like together? And I also asked again, my second question is that I also asked again that if I should apply for this application that is ending by May 24th, when will I be like, when will I get a response on if I'll be proceeding to the next stage or not? So yeah, that's all. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, Victoria, please, did you get that question?
Can answer the first part of the question, but the second part about timelines, I think talent acquisition can answer that.
Okay, so the second part, I will have Chika come in. I can see Chika's hand is up, so Chika will probably come in and address it as well. So once you are done, Chika, then you follow through for us.
Okay, great. So guys, please don't be confused. Just picture this. It's very simple. Bank of America is made up of pillars. Under those pillars, we have divisions. Another word for division is department, right? Now, one of the many pillars Bank of America has is called technology and data analytics. Now, under that pillar, we have the technology division, we have a data analytics program, et cetera, et cetera. That is the structure of Bank of America. However, as far as this recruitment exercise is concerned this year, only the technology division under the technology and data analytics pillar is available for you guys to apply to. So if you're hoping to apply to a data analytics role specifically, unfortunately, it's not available. The only reason you're seeing technology and data analytics, that language, is because that's the name of that pillar. But the only division that's available for you to apply to this year under that pillar is the technology division. I hope I've cleared that up.
All right. Chika, if you can come in.
Yes, hi, David.
Yes, hi,
For
Chika.
those asking about timelines, so this process is expected to finish or close by end of June, early July. The selection process should end by that period. So we encourage you to apply early with we don't have a deadline for now. So it is on a rolling basis. That means that if you apply early, you get to be considered for the next stage if you qualify, right? So please apply early so that if you qualify, then we can take you to the next stage, which is the assessment center stage, right? Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Chika, for
Hi,
that
David.
response.
Please, I have
Yeah.
a question.
So
All right,
sorry,
please
David.
go
Let
on.
me just sorry, David. Before
Yes.
she asks the question, let me just add this one thing. So currently, we have sent out assessments for those who have already applied, right? So assessments have gone out to them, technical assessments, aptitude tests, right? So for those who apply next, if you apply early, then we can also consider you for that assessment again, right? So please apply early. Yeah.
Okay, all right, Chika, thank you. So the last question, and then we go on. Please go on.
Yes, please. Please, I was asking if after the training we do not qualify, do we have the right or are we allowed to put list it on our CV that we were able to join the sections?
Victoria, I don't know if you would want to give a response to that.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yes, you can very much put it on your CV. Of course, the language matters. The entire purpose of a CV is to outline things that you have actually done. So if you have actually passed through this Global Pathways program, although we're branded in the Bank of America program, then yes, you can put it on your CV. But we recommend that you brand it as the SEO Africa Global Pathways program.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I think that will be all for the questions and answers portion. Hello? Yes. Okay. So moving on. At this point, we will be bringing the session to an end. Before we do that, I'd like to say a very big thank you to Victoria. For those that couldn't join us earlier, so Victoria is the talent development at SEO. She also did her internship at Goldman Sachs as an investment management personnel. And also, she has 3.5 years experience in investment banking at IC Securities Ghana. We all can attest to it today that she has been very insightful in clearing whatever doubts and whatever issues that we needed clarity on concerning the immersion program. So I'd like to say a very big thank you to Victoria once more. And then to the rest of everybody that also joined us today, this is just a start of the sessions that we are about to have. Continuing from tomorrow, we have another session that is in GCIB, the same time, 6 p.m. GMT. We encourage everybody to join too as well. Those that are seeking knowledge in the various divisions that Victoria listed on, you have to join all of these sessions and then you'll be given much more insightful knowledge. We have alumni coming on board to come and speak on their experiences and the work at Bank of America itself. So without very much to say any further, I don't know if anybody has any last minute words to give. If not, then we will be bringing this session to an end. All right. Without any additional words, thank you all so much for joining tonight's session. It was really, really great to have you all on board. Thank you. And we get to see you tomorrow too as well. Have a nice evening. Thank you.